Hello everybody and welcome to the second video of today's update of what is now Cyclone Tiffany. This has winds of 65 knots now, and ATCF has not updated yet, so we can't really, pinpoint that on here. So we're gonna take a look at this right now, and as you can see, it strengthened pretty much right up to this point. Apparently, the system is about to make landfall right now as we speak, and these areas are probably getting hit with storm surge, very heavy rain, the really gusty winds, of course, because this is now a Category 1 equivalent hurricane, which is a cyclone. So this is probably going to race across. This is flatlands around this area, so it's probably not going to disrupt it a whole lot going forward. So whatever's left going into the Gulf here is what's going to determine how much power is going to gain later on. So if it doesn't lose that much organization and strength, it's probably going to intensify pretty quickly as we go out through time. All right, so let's see if it updated yet. Nope, it is not updated yet, but I promise you guys, this is a cyclone, a 75 mile per hour cyclone. So here we are. We're looking at this is probably 18Z, I believe. Yeah, 18Z. And it has 55 knots, which is obviously not correct right now. So this has definitely surpassed its 60 knot for first peak. But now what I see here is that they got a 70 knot for the second peak. And that's inland. That's way inland too. So this could strengthen pretty quickly here in the Western Gulf regions here. Okay, so here is a look at the GFS, and it still doesn't have a very good hold on this system. As you can see, it's at 997, and it's farther south than what it really is. So the GFS has been not very good with this system whatsoever. So we're going to go out through time, and once it gets into the Gulf, it starts to organize, but it doesn't really quite make it there. The lowest the GFS goes is a 995 millibar system, which again I do not agree with whatsoever. But we will take a look at rainfall's amounts. All right, so it's pretty much what we saw earlier. We're in the lighter colors and the purple shades, which is indicative of about 60 millimeters to 150 millimeters of rain here on the Cape York Eastern Peninsula here. So as we go out through time, it doesn't really give that all that much rain here in the Gulf regions of Alaska to either. So it's still about 60 to 50 knots, or not knots, but millimeters of rain going forward. All right, so here we are. We're looking at the European here, and as you can see, this was initialized at 12Z, and we're initialized at 998. But this, you got to remember, this was around 8 a.m. So we don't have the 0Z 8 p.m. yet. So we're gonna. I'm not obviously. I'm gonna not wait for that because I'll probably be sleeping by then. All right, so here we go. 102 or 24 hours out, 1,002 millibars, 995, 984. So it makes landfall on the Western Gulf coast there at a 984 millibar system, which is a pretty decent Category 2 cyclone as we go forward through time. So what we're going to look at now here is the vorticity. And as you can see, it's not too tight at this current location, but obviously we know what it is right now. It's a 75 mile per hour cyclone. So both the Euro and GFS is not right here. But European has been more on ball with it than the GFS, obviously, because then because the European has this strengthening pretty nicely in the Gulf region and making landfall as a pretty decent tropical cyclone. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with this as we go out through time. All right, so here we go. We're gonna look at the different, type of, temperature maps here. This is from the Australian Government Bureau of Meteorology, and as you can see here, where it is located now, they're about 29 to 30 degrees Celsius waters here. So these are pretty warm waters here for this to intensify up until landfall, which is not ideal if you want to live on the coast here. So once it traverses the peninsula here, then you can see these temperature values going way up. We're talking about 30s, 31s, 32s, and maybe even 33s in here. 33 degrees Celsius. Like, holy, excuse my language, but holy shit. So, yeah, this is dangerous water temperatures here. So, the only thing that will really keep this in check once it gets into the Gulf is how it looks getting off of its first landfall. That hopefully it degenerates enough where it's not going to be too bad, but still kind of up there. Or if it's going to come off on land still intact, and then it's going to get really up there. And also, what can inhibit it from getting too strong is if there is wind shear in the Gulf. And that's going to be one of the things that I look for going on in the future, is if there's wind shear in the Gulf. So, we're just going to have to wait and see what that happens. And here, now we're going to take a look at the western side of the Gulf. And as you can see, it's still the same picture here. Talking about 31s, 32s, even some 33s at this really tippity bottom here. So this storm has massive fuel to work with. Actually, you know what? We're going to take a look at the wind shear right now. So we can make this a little bit bigger, longer of an update. I think this is it. No, that is not it. Excuse me, that's not what I want popping up. That is the same thing. Sorry guys, I should have, had this up. Alright, you know what? It does not look like I can find it. I'm not too well versed with all the other categories here, but we will definitely find out about the wind shear here momentarily. Ah, here we go. Here we go. This is what we want to look at. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so it looks like the shear is pretty. Where do you see the L? It looks like it's in the yellows and the oranges here. So that's why the GFS doesn't really, show it strengthening all that much because of the wind shear mostly. So this is what I'm talking about. So if something like the GFS, comes to fruition, that's because of the wind shear. And I'm just saying, if there's no wind shear in the Gulf areas, this thing is probably going to explode. And that's something we don't want for the other coast of Australia. So with that being said, I will be back again tomorrow morning with another update for you guys. I want you guys to stay safe, be prepared, and if you're living on the western side of the Gulf, get your preparations in order so you guys can ride out the storm or evacuate, whatever you guys plan on doing. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys again tomorrow morning.